This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend wrap-up has returned here on the Break the Bell Podcast.
Woohoo!
And Bill is knocking his flag down
I know.
right away, just so you know that we are still not any better off than we were before we took this break. So,
Yes, you'd think we'd have got our shit together,
No.
and we did not.
no, not at all, because it's not like we spent that extra time
No.
doing better and improving things. No, we
Right.
just drank beer and went camping and fishing and lots of fishing. And you moved.
I moved, and and
You moved into my basement.
yeah, right.
No, not really.
but there was a couple times it was close.
Yeah, that bad, huh? So we took the month of July off and apparently the first week of August off too, because
Yes.
we made plans without realizing, oh yeah, we're supposed to kick
August.
this thing back off. And so this week it's like, all right, we are back, and we're coming back with a vengeance. It's not like we haven't had a show going for a month. We've had the main show every Monday night, obviously, but we haven't done this weekend thing.
Yeah.
It was really weird because setting this up, I was almost nervous, like we're starting back off
Yeah.
again after, but we still do this every damn week.
I
but
know.
I don't know.
And I was like, even today, I'm like, is today the day?
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yep.
Did it say this week? Was it next week?
Nope.
Shit.
It's definitely this week. I'm glad you made it though. I think I sent you a reminder to make sure that
Yeah,
you
you did, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are here. We are wrapping up your week and probably some other weeks too, because we haven't got to talk about all the other shit that's going on in the world, which is
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
which
right
is
now.
actually what the weekend wrap up is. It's
it
just
is.
talking, like the main episode is usually topical. It's usually like one specific thing that we dig into hardcore and take a bunch of notes and do a bunch of reading on. And then the weekend wrap up is just everything else we
Right.
feel like talking about.
And clearly, nobody else really took weekends off
No.
except for us.
Yeah, right. So this weekend might go a little longer, maybe not, who knows, just because we haven't had this, and
Yeah.
there's quite a few things going on out there. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but,
No,
but there is.
I have.
So
Because even though we haven't wrapped it up, I have been paying attention.
you have been paying a little bit of attention. My earbuds sound like off balance in my ears, and I don't
Really?
know why, and it's kind of driving me nuts. Are yours off balance in your ears?
No, mine sound good.
Yours are good in your ears.
Mine are good in my ears.
Okay, I'm glad your ears are good. Maybe it's just my ears. I don't know. I'll get over it though. So before we get into the show, obviously we still got to mention our sponsor, that is Run Your Mouth Coffee, because even though we took the month off, Run Your Mouth Coffee did not take
It did not.
the month off. That I know of anyway.
No.
At least they didn't tell
I
us
didn't
they
see
were
the
taking the
memo.
month off. So go find some delicious coffee that's not garbage gas station coffee, that doesn't support communism and isn't from
hard to
China or I don't know. We've said all these things.
Yes.
Go find a company, support any company that supports your individual rights, your freedoms, your constitutional rights, your abilities to just be able to run your mouth
Absolutely.
without fear of consequence, without fear of getting deplatformed or kicked off of YouTube, kicked off of society, whatever. Run Your Mouth Coffee does not support those things. They support your ability to have the free speech, like the God-given gift of free speech that
Yes.
that is supposedly like the one of the foundations of this country that seems to be being attempted to be stripped away little
Yes.
by little.
Stomped on.
Yep. Run Your Mouth Coffee does not support that, and they make delicious coffee. So go to rymcoffee.com. Tell them we sent you by using the promo code Break the Bell, and you'll get 10% off your purchase plus free shipping, and that's a freaking fantastic deal. And you get delicious coffee, and you get to support a really good company.
Absolutely.
So do that.
Two pillars our country was built on: freedom and coffee.
Yes, those exact things. That's what the Boston Tea Party was all about. Was they were sick of bullshit tea.
Yes.
And they're like, we want coffee to be
yes.
the official hot beverage of this country, and we will break away from the empire, the
Yes.
British Empire, just to take that stance, because the British don't drink coffee.
No.
They only drink bullshit tea,
Yes.
which they probably import from communist China.
Yes, and that's why they lost their empire.
Yes, because they were stuck in the old
Yes.
ways of tea, and we were like, fuck your tea, we want coffee.
There's a better way.
There is a better way, and that better way is Run Your Mouth Coffee. rymcoffee.com.
We took the long way to
We
get there.
did, but we got there nonetheless. That's all that matters, is we got there indeed. Bill, how's your weekend going?
It's been
while I
going
get this set up?
good. This has been the first weekend I've actually been in my house since
Oh,
we
yeah?
moved in. Yes.
Yeah, you moved like 3 weeks ago.
I know. And this is the first week, full weekend. And
You're
so
like, I want to buy this new house,
and
but I
not
don't
live
want
in
to
it.
spend any time there.
I know, and that's how it's been. So I actually got stuff done around the house. I mowed my lawn for the first time, which means I actually own it.
Oh,
and
nice.
Today was the first day. We got a refrigerator yesterday. We've had 3 weeks without a refrigerator.
You've had a refrigerator ordeal.
Yes, I have, and I'm not going to get into it. That's not the place. That's a different podcast.
All right.
But so I cooked up some bacon and eggs for breakfast today, which was nice. And my son and I, we sat around and watched 80s cartoons all weekend.
Nice. Broke the house in nice. Then.
We did, yes. YouTube has these Saturday morning 80s cartoon blocks. It's like 3 or 4 hours of 80s cartoons with 80s commercials. And so I'll just put those on, and my son and I will sit there and watch them, and he loves them. He loves the commercials, and I feel bad for him because he was born in the wrong decade. Because everything we see, he's like, Dad, I want that. And I'm like,
yeah.
So I look it up on eBay, and I'm like,
That's only
like
$300.
$300.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm sorry. I might have it in my basement. Let me go check.
Yeah. About 40 years ago, you could have gotten that for
Yeah.
probably about $4.
See, I did what I have done most weekends this summer. I went fishing, except this time I punished myself by paying to go fish.
Oh, okay.
I went to this event called the Fish-O-Rama, which is, it's for a good cause.
I've heard of it.
It's for a good cause. It's on a way too small of a lake for the amount of people fishing there,
Okay.
but they tag these fish with different tags and stuff, and you can win different prizes.
They have good prizes, which is why it's always packed,
Like
right?
TVs, they have kayaks, they have
wow.
all the way up to a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck
Oh, damn.
that they were getting. Nobody got it by the time I left today. Yesterday, I'm pretty sure it was the guy and a girl that were like meth heads at some point. They were like your stereotypical meth head type people,
Sure.
and they were just loud and obnoxious. The
They're
whole
like
entire and inappropriate.
Lighting M80s and throwing them in the lake to kill
I'm
fish.
surprised they weren't, but the guy was like, "Can I swim across to the other side to catch on the other side?" It's like, you're gonna scare all the fucking fish
Right,
if you do
yeah.
that, dumbass. But yeah, he was just loud and obnoxious the whole time, and I was just like really annoyed.
That
But
sounds annoying.
I got to fish, I guess.
Right.
So anyway, that's our weekend. That's
Yeah.
your week. We wrapped up the weekend.
There
It's
you
time to
go.
go. It's been a
right.
month.
See
That's
you
all
next
we got.
weekend.
You brought up YouTube, watching YouTube all weekend with your son.
Yeah.
So that made me remember, as everybody who listens to us regularly knows, or may not know, we got nuked from YouTube, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And so we've been finding alternate ways to stream our show, which has been fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not YouTube, but it's fine. Well, I made the conscious decision today to restart a YouTube channel. So we will be back on YouTube
Cool.
for the short term at least. And
Right.
if we get nuked again, I'm not wasting any time with it again.
What's the name of our YouTube channel?
The channel's called Break the Bell.
Okay.
We don't have a specified domain name yet because we don't have our 100 subscribers because I just started it like 20 minutes ago.
Right.
So if you want to help us out, help us build back to what we lost, build back and build back better.
Yes.
The link to that YouTube channel is on our main social media pages at Break the Bell Pod on Twitter and on Facebook, and you can go click the link, subscribe, like, and all that fun stuff we tell you to do so we can build this thing back up to what it was and build it back better, as Joe Biden would say. And that would be awesome. And we can come back with the vengeance we want to come back.
Yes.
So do that. Go find our YouTube channel. The link will be posted all over our social media because I can't just be like, it's youtube.com/channel/XYQ13728. I don't know. Don't go to that, but that's not it. Go to that, like, and subscribe because we will love you for it as much as we already love you. So without further ado, let's get into the news, I guess, because we got, like I said, quite a few things to cover, and it's been roughly 12 minutes, and we haven't said anything about the news yet.
No.
I got this news story first, and this one I haven't mentioned to you at all because I want your reaction to this, and hopefully you haven't heard this one yet because this one I thought was satire or like a meme on Facebook, but it turns out to be true. You remember the space telescope picture out there, and people are like, oh, that's just, and they'd post like a picture of their like marble island, and they'd be like, that's just a zoom in photo of this, and all the jokes going around because of all these stupid what I would probably consider to be fake satellite photos or telescope photos, because I'm like, that doesn't look real. Well, apparently one of them wasn't real, because here's an article from CNN. So this is actually a legitimate source that says top scientist admits space telescope image was actually a slice of chorizo. Did you see this one?
You sent it to me.
Oh,
you did.
Oh, but I sent that one thinking it was a meme. I thought it was fake at the time.
Okay, yeah.
I thought that was just one of those fake ones at the time. But no, it turns out this is a real story.
Yes, yeah. No, I saw that and I was like, oh, really? And then I looked into it and I saw it was real too. And I'm like, that's.
I didn't realize it was real till today. I went looking. And I was
okay.
like, oh my God, that is actually chorizo.
That's horrible.
Says a French scientist has apologized after tweeting a photo. Here, let me pull this. I'm not sure why it's not pulling up. There it is. French scientist has apologized after tweeting a photo of a slice of chorizo, claiming it was an image of a distant star taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. Does it have an image for us? There's the image. That is the distant star.
That's awesome.
That
looks like chorizo.
It makes me hungry.
It does.
It's like, why does this star make me hungry all of a sudden? Says Etienne Klein, a celebrated physicist and director at France's Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission, shared the image of the spicy Spanish sausage on Twitter last week, praising the level of detail it provided.
That's awesome.
Picture of Proxima Centauri, the nearest star to the sun, located 4.2 light years away from us. It was taken by the James Webb Telescope. This level of detail, a new world is unveiled every day. So do you think this was just like a joke, or do you think he was just like, I went in on this. I want to go viral, because this shit went viral.
Yeah. No, I think it. Yeah. No, I think it was intentional at first, and then someone probably called him out on it.
Who called him out on it? Like, who was just like, no, I've seen this before. I have looked at chorizo under a microscope, and this looks exactly like chorizo under a microscope.
That's what scientists do with the high-powered microscopes. They're hey, okay, bring the cheese over here. Let's look at that.
The post was retweeted and commented upon by thousands of users who took the scientist by his word. Things, however, were not quite as they seemed. Klein admitted later in a series of follow-up tweets that the image was, in fact, a close-up of a slice of chorizo taken against a black background. Well, when it's cocktail hour, cognitive bias seems to find plenty to enjoy. Beware of it. According to contemporary cosmology, no object related to Spanish charcuterie exists anywhere else other than Earth. That was his response to it. He's just like, I was just joking, and it was cocktail hour, and I was just trying to play. No, you tried to pass this up. Otherwise, the next day when you woke up and you're like, oh, shit, I actually did.
That's probably what it was. He had way too much to drink, and he was like, hey, well, let's post the chorizo.
Well, that's what he said, because he was like, when it's cocktail hour, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, but then the next day you would have woke up and been like, shit, I posted that. I thought I dreamed that. And then he would be like, just kidding, guys. No, it wasn't until somebody called him out, and he was like, Yeah, that was a joke. That was a drunk guy joke, guys.
It's like, don't you remember that was chorizo that we put on there?
It's like,
he's like, oh fuck.
Don't tell anybody because it looks really cool. It says, after facing backlash from members of the online community for the prank, he wrote, in view of certain comments, I feel obliged to specify that the tweet showing an alleged picture of Proxima Centauri was a joke. Let's learn to be wary of the arguments from positions of authority as much as the spontaneous eloquence of certain images.
But maybe he was doing that, calling out maybe some of the other pictures, right? Maybe he's like, hey, watch out for what they're posting because those pictures are bullshit too.
I mean, he does go on to say his intention was to urge caution regarding images that seem to speak for themselves. So maybe he was, without saying, he's calling it out and being like, none of these are real, guys.
Right.
Look, I can post a picture of Spanish sausage, and you all are dumb enough to believe that this is a star. So when my co-scientist over here posts a picture of his granite countertop, be wary of these pictures because they aren't always what they seem.
Yeah.
So
that almost sounds like what he's saying.
Yeah. So there's that. I found that hilarious.
That is funny.
Moving on.
I didn't know that you thought
I
that.
didn't at all. I thought it was like just like a Babylon Bee post or something. I didn't actually look into it. I just saw the screenshot that I sent you, and I'm like, that's hilarious. So this one is somewhat old news, but we haven't talked about it yet. The Brittney Griner stuff.
Yeah.
What do you know about Brittney Griner?
I know she is a WNBA player. She went to Russia, got caught with some drugs and some THC, right?
Yeah, it was like THC, the cartridges.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
In Russia, no less. And so, so she got sentenced to 9 years. And
well, first, she made all these excuses up. I didn't know. I have a prescription for it. Which, how hard would it be? I mean, she's not an NBA player. She makes like pennies to the dollar. So she's not. I wouldn't call her famous by any stretch because
I wouldn't have known who she was.
It is the WNBA.
Right.
So she's famous for WNBA standards, but
people who are big fans of the WNBA know her.
Yes, but still, she probably has enough money to call back home and be like, "Can you get a doctor to predate a prescription for these cartridges?" And she's like, "I'll give him at least $250, which is like 10% of my annual salary." And some doctor was like, yeah, no problem. I mean, he scribbles it on and predates it to like June of last year. And you could probably just see scratched out 22 to 21, just really shitty, like fabricated. So, she made up all these excuses. But me, I'm like, you're in Russia. Like, what? Why did you think this would be okay, even if you had a prescription? I mean, you gotta be on pins and needles depending on which state you go into with those things.
Oh, yeah, they're just looking for an excuse to get you.
Yeah, if you go from Illinois into here in Iowa, they'll arrest you. They'll throw you in jail for that shit. So if you got to be cautious of what state here in the country you live in, that's supposedly the freest country in the world, why would you think going to Russia would be a good idea carrying that stuff?
And I have a couple issues with this. Number one, who was it? There was some celebrity that came out and been like, well, if she made what a male NBA player was making, she wouldn't have to put up with this.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well,
she could pay off the Russians?
Right. Something like that, right?
It was probably LeBron James.
It probably was. And again, I think you and I have had this discussion. It's the WNBA. I mean... who watches that?
Yeah, I mean, market value. Like, they get paid based on market value. The NBA gets paid more because more people watch it and pay more, tons more money to go to events, to buy the merchandise. Who's going out and looking for a freaking Brittney Griner jersey out there?
Right.
I mean, I'm not being sexist in any way. I'm talking specifically economically. Market value of a WNBA player is considerably lower because nobody watches that shit.
Right.
Whether they should, whether it's as good, I don't know. I don't watch either one, to be honest. So,
my other issue with this is the fact that my understanding is that the Biden administration is negotiating for her release.
Yes,
offering like known like Russian spy or something like that, right? Well, I mean, what's the penalty in the United States for getting caught with
Right.
that?
Exactly.
mean, it's like 30 years incarceration.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can you jump through hoops for her, and then the normal person, right, who's in jail, they just have to rot because
Right.
they broke the law.
Or could you imagine a normal person traveling to Russia,
Oh, yeah.
getting arrested for possession?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Biden would bend over backwards
No.
for that person?
No.
No, it's because this person is a semi-celebrity. Shit, I hit a button accidentally. A semi-celebrity status. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we got to bend over backwards for these people.
Yeah.
It's just like, you
Yeah.
want equality. Like she's one that's all like kind of.
Yeah.
She's kind of the LeBron James of the WNBA, which
Oh,
is fine if she wants to be
Right.
activist and
Right.
go for
whatever.
equal rights and all that shit. But it's like, again, one of us goes over there, gets arrested, we're gonna rot in Russian
Oh,
jail.
yeah. No one's gonna fight for us to come
No.
back.
I mean, we might not have got as high of a sentence because Russia's just trying to
Oh,
swing their big dicks around and set an example. It's just like, hey, we got one of your celebrities, and us back here, we're like, joke's on you. She's not a celebrity. We're awful people. So this is today's article, or August 5th. So a couple days ago, the most recent article from it says Brittney Griner could hardly talk after being handed 9 years in Russian prison, and was expecting half of that, the lawyer said. It says WNBA star Brittney Griner was devastated after being given a 9-year prison sentence in Russia, her lawyer said. In an interview after a Moscow judge delivered her sentence, an attorney on Griner's legal team, Maria Blagovolina,
that doesn't sound good.
said they have expected a sentence only half as long. Griner, who is also a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, was detained in Russia in late February when customs officials at Moscow's Sheremetyevo airport said they found vape cartridges containing cannabis oil in her luggage. Her punishment was almost the maximum for the charge of drug smuggling, which can carry up to 10 years. So, yeah, they were considering this drug smuggling
Right.
because, I mean, she crossed borders. Technically, by definition, that would be
Yeah.
drug smuggling. I don't know that she had any intent to distribute or anything.
No.
It was probably just for herself.
Right.
But
Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, yeah, she was there, she got it, she partook, and then didn't clean out her vape cartridges and got busted coming back.
Yeah.
Right. But they were fishing for something if they're
Yeah.
picking it up and like,
that smells like
we need
weed.
to test this.
Yeah, I don't even, when I vaped, I wouldn't even take my vape on a plane
Right.
because first of all, I didn't know if I was allowed to. I mean, you can't carry a bottle of shampoo that's
Right.
bigger than that. So it's just like, I probably can't take this on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
So I never did. But again, people that think they can
Right.
get around those certain laws, which here in the United States, I'm sure,
Oh,
even
yeah.
though it's illegal here in the United States, she goes through an airport here. I
Oh, yeah.
guarantee you, they're like, "What's this?" And she's like, "It's my vape cartridges." And they're like, "You're not supposed to have that." And she's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, goodbye."
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's it. That's all that would happen. And one of us would get arrested
Oh,
on the
yeah.
spot.
Right. Or they'd confiscate and throw them away or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Says she is very upset, very stressed,
I
said her
imagine.
lawyer. She can hardly talk. It's a difficult time for her. She's devastated. She is very, this is similarly told to other people. She just is devastated and shocked and can barely talk. So she's told that to The Insider, and she's also told it to People Magazine.
so she's literally said, "I'm devastated. I can't even talk."
Probably. That's her lawyer saying that. It says Griner changed her plea to guilty in July, more than 4 months after her arrest, in a apparent move to seek leniency, which largely did not come. Because she was pleading not guilty, and it
Right.
wasn't looking good for her. And they're like,
If you plead, well, in America, if you plead guilty, they go easy on you. And she's like, "All right, I'll try it."
and she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm guilty." He's like, "Well, shit, that made my
Yeah,
job
no,
easy."
All right, well,
Max sentence.
maximum.
Says she had been stealing herself, her lawyer said, telling reporters that Griner had referred to the day of her sentencing as doomsday. Russian courts have a 99% conviction rate, and experts told insiders Meredith Cash before Griner's hearing that hers most likely already had a predetermined outcome. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds
again,
like it.
Russians don't like us too much right now.
I was gonna say this is not the time to get in trouble over in Russia.
Yeah. I could see Vladimir Putin being like, "Hey, we'll set her free if you end this whole
Right. Yeah.
sending weapons to our arch enemies,
Yeah.
Ukraine, over here, and just let us do our thing." And Biden's like, we could probably. And the defense secretary is sitting over there like, no, what are you doing? It's WNBA. It's not like it's LeBron James.
He's Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you said it was Britt Griner, not Brittney.
Yeah, something. I don't know. But anyway, I thought the whole thing was ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And again, if they want to fight for her, then they need to decriminalize here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And then go after her.
Yeah. Let's take care of our people here
Right.
first, then we'll go over there.
Because
and take care of
otherwise,
her.
yeah, you're just a hypocrite.
So it says President Joe Biden called Griner's sentence unacceptable. To who though? To
Yeah,
us?
right.
I don't think the Russians care what's acceptable
Right,
to us or
yeah.
not acceptable to us. Case in point, the Ukraine war. They don't care.
Right. But what makes it unacceptable? I mean, if
Yeah.
she was in, say, the Vegas airport, where I know they have drug dogs all over
Right.
the place, and she got busted there, right? I mean, I'm sure she's got a fancy lawyer that would come in and
Right.
talk her off. Probably not Maria Belagadovich or whatever. So
I think that's her Russian lawyer, maybe.
that's my thought.
Says last week his administration proposed a prisoner swap for her, offering Viktor Bout, a convicted Russian arms dealer, for Griner. That's not a
insane.
very fair
I
trade.
know, that's ridiculous.
Like, you got to give us something.
gonna
Oh,
give you
and a former Marine, U.S. Marine, Paul Whelan, who, yes, he's a former U.S. Marine. He was kicked out of the Marine Corps for, like, I think, stealing or fraud or something.
Okay.
And he was I think he became like a defense contract or like a private security official or
Okay.
something. And I think he might have been accused of spying over there too.
Okay, so he's a prisoner over there currently.
Yeah, but we didn't like him over here either because we kicked him
Right.
out of the military.
Okay.
Like, not even, it was a bad conduct discharge he got for it. So he's probably not even receiving any kind of military benefits. But it's like, you know what? We'll give you this spy over here.
We'll give you this badass arms dealer for a
And
WNBA
he's
player
like-
and a
and
discharged Marine.
bad conduct discharge Marine. It's like, again, that's kind of like the Obama deals we got.
Right, yeah.
Where we gave up like 5 Taliban leaders
Yeah.
for what was it, Chelsea? Not it was
Yeah.
it Chelsea man. It was the guy that got the deserter.
Right.
remember?
Yeah,
I can't think of
remember
that
his
guy's
name. I
name.
know
but
who you're talking about.
it's just like we never get
We never make
good
any
deal
good
out of
deals.
it. Says the White House said the Kremlin responded with a counteroffer that included another convict, describing it as a bad faith attempt to avoid a very serious offer on the proposal that the United States has put forward. A U.S. official told People Thursday that they were still waiting for Russia to respond to the original offer, while Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Friday that Russia was ready to discuss the proposal, but only through private diplomatic channels. So maybe she'll get out, maybe she won't. Who knows?
My guess is she'll end up getting out.
Yeah. Apparently she plays for the Phoenix Mercury, which I didn't even know that was a team.
Me neither. It must be a new one.
So
Actually, I don't know any WNBA
Yeah.
team, so but maybe they'd be like, okay, wait, can we get her to play on our Olympic team, and maybe we'll.
yes. Yeah, that's our deal. Next Summer Olympics, she plays for us.
Yep.
And every Summer Olympics, as long as she is able to play, she
Right.
plays for us. And then you can have her back the rest of the time.
Yeah.
That's a deal. And we have to win the Olympics every
Right.
time. If
Yeah.
she doesn't win, then we keep her for that
Yeah.
next 4 years until she wins. That's the deal on the table. Oh, man. That's ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not as ridiculous as this one. Maybe. I don't know. What? Maybe your thoughts on this. Trump easily wins the CPAC 2024 Texas straw poll.
It doesn't surprise me.
But is it ridiculous?
It
though?
is ridiculous. It shouldn't even be a thing.
No.
It gives me a little bit of a headache to think about it, to be honest.
Well, Hillary took herself out of the chances of running because she knows that Biden is the only one that can take down Trump, clearly.
Clearly, because he's done it once before, right?
I mean, how much did she have to eat crow to come out and say those words
Oh,
on
I'm
public
sure.
television to be
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not going to do it because we need somebody that can beat Trump.
Right. Yeah. They're probably like, you know what? We'll give you rebuilding Ukraine after all this.
Yes, and Sri Lanka and whatever's going on in Haiti.
Right.
You
Yeah.
keep
You
doing
can
that.
you can help. The Clinton Foundation can have first dibs on all those.
Yes, every second, third world country that has problems.
But you have to read this word for word.
She's like, them motherfuckers. She's like,
I can win.
because Biden is the only
Yeah.
one that can beat Donald Trump.
With my coaching, of course.
It's like something's wrong with Hillary's voice.
Yeah. Why
And
is her
then she-
teeth clenched?
Then she went and flipped a table again after
Yeah,
that.
right. Punched her
So it's-
Huma.
So this is from Fox News. It says Trump easily wins the Texas CPAC 24 GOP presidential nomination straw poll. That is a hell
That
of
is
a title.
really big title. I think they could have shortened that down quite a bit.
DeSantis comes in second. Says Trump captured 69.1% of the ballots cast, and DeSantis received 23.7. That's not
Wait,
even close.
What was the percentage of Trump?
69.1
That's a
to
lot.
DeSantis' 23.7
Yeah, that's crazy.
in an anonymous CPAC straw poll. Says former President Trump convincingly won the 2024 GOP presidential nomination straw poll. It was a 3-day gathering in Texas. It says Trump, who's repeatedly teased making another presidential run in 24 to try and return to the White House, captured 69% of the ballots cast in the anonymous online straw poll. The support of the former president, who remains the most popular and influential politician in the Republican Party and continues to play a kingmaker's role in the GOP primaries,
Does he, though?
I guess, is up from his 59% showing in the anonymous online straw poll at the CPAC gathering in Orlando.
Wait, I thought it was in Texas.
It says it's up from 59% he
gotcha.
got in
Orlando. Gotcha.
So
okay.
much higher, considerably higher
That's
in
Texas.
Texas. Florida, well, obviously Florida is going to,
Yeah.
DeSantis is going to get a little bit higher, but
Right.
it's funny, his own state still
Right,
picked
that's
Trump
true.
over him.
Yeah. Dang.
It says Florida Governor DeSantis came in second at 24%, down from his 28% in Orlando 5 months ago. DeSantis has seen his popularity surge among Republican voters in his state and around the nation over the past 2.5 years, thanks in part to his relentless pushback against COVID-19 restrictions amid the pandemic, as well as his aggressive actions in the culture wars. While DeSantis has repeatedly deflected talk of a potential run in 24 Republican presidential nomination, political pundits view him as a potential White House contender, and I think Fox News really wants him.
I think
they're-
so, too.
They don't want anything to do with Trump.
Right.
They're back on the 2015-16
Right.
era Fox News,
Yeah.
where they're like, this guy's a
Right.
joke. We
Yeah.
want anybody but Trump.
Yeah.
Because they go on to say, where did they say it? It says CPAC Texas poll results were released just ahead of the confab's keynote speech by Trump. DeSantis, who appeared in Orlando conference earlier this year, did not attend the Texas gathering. Ted Cruz, who spoke Friday at the conference, grabbed 2% of support on the straw poll ballot. No one else among the 21 names listed topped 1%.
Wow.
Trump remains the most dominant force in American politics, and as yet another straw poll shows, it's a reality that will propel the growth and success of the Republican Party through the midterms and beyond. I don't know. Well, I guess I was a Trump spokeswoman
Right. Yeah.
or spokesman.
That sounds like a Trump person.
Yeah, I don't know that we can consider that success of the Republican Party.
Right. Yeah.
The 24 straw poll also included a second list without Trump. So the CPAC was like, all right, who's your vote? And everybody's like, Trump, hands down Trump. And they're like, all right, now let's talk. If Trump wasn't winning, who would you vote
Right.
for? And DeSantis came in at 65% of that.
Okay.
So if not Trump, then DeSantis.
Yeah.
But if Trump, then
Trump.
definitely Trump.
Hmm.
I find it funny that, like, have you ever seen that before in a straw poll or a primary or anything like that, where they're like,
Yeah.
all right, who's your top contender? And they're like, Barack Obama. And they're like, what if Barack Obama wasn't there? Then who would you vote for? I hadn't
Yeah.
heard of this one.
Yeah.
It almost seems like they're like, either they know, because we know they're trying to file all these
Oh, yeah.
criminal charges on Trump. So they're like, well, what if he can't win
Right, yeah.
or run? What if he's not legally allowed to
Right.
run, or he's rotting in jail somewhere. Then who would you vote for? Or they're trying to push somebody else too. Like, do you?
Right.
But do you really want Trump?
Yeah, right. I mean, let's think
Like-
this through.
Like, what if we exclude Trump from
Yeah.
these figures? His son Donald Trump Jr. was also on that list
Oh, was he?
for, if not Trump,
Oh,
Donald
okay.
Trump Jr. was on
Interesting.
the list, but he only got 8% of the vote. Yeah. I think I take him less than
Yeah.
the actual Donald Trump.
Yeah, as well. He seems like kind of an asshole.
Where did they?
I mean, more so.
Trying to find the part where I'm just like, these guys don't really like Trump. I can't find it now, but they were basically like, the CPAC's basically been on Trump's dick for for years now. So since 2016.
No, I remember.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
It says the former president's strong performance on the unscientific survey. Now they're calling Fox News will call this an unscientific survey
Gotcha.
because they don't like Trump, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
you never see these polls being considered an
Yeah.
unscientific survey any other time.
Yeah.
Goes on to say, CPAC, long the largest and most influential gathering of conservative leaders and activists, has become a Trump fest since 2016
Trump fest.
presidential election victory. So the wording here sounds
Yeah.
like Fox News isn't necessarily on
Yeah.
board with
and
Trump.
like you said, back in 2015, 16, they were not fans of Trump.
No, not at all. It
they
was a
talked
big
down
joke.
the whole time. And I remember Megyn Kelly, who was, she was working for Fox at the time.
Yep.
Her and Trump, I mean, they really did not like each other.
Right.
I mean, you could just tell she would go after him hardcore, and he would call her a nasty woman.
I remember that. A nasty woman, which was not the worst thing Trump's ever said. So she's
Right.
lucky he called her a nasty
Yeah.
woman and not like he probably first was like, Megyn Kelly's a C word. And then they're like, can we go back and re-record
you can't
that?
say that. You can't say that.
And then he comes back. He's like, Megyn Kelly's a bitch. And he's like, all right,
Tone it
number
down.
three.
Yeah,
Number three.
right.
What the hell you want me to say?
Yeah, I know.
Megyn Kelly's
What
a
is there?
nasty woman. That's probably how it went.
All right, cut. We got it. Go.
So at this the CPAC convention or whatever, this was one of the scenes here. They had a mock jail cell of a January 6th protester, just like in the middle of this thing. It was like a display case, but it was a jail cell, and he was like writing on a chalkboard. It was like, you know how you count down your days, but you don't actually have chalkboards in jail cells.
Yeah,
but
they don't
they
give
had a
those to you.
chalkboard
That's
here.
funny.
But he wrote, "Where is everybody?" on it. And I think this guy's actually a legit person that's being charged with this
Oh,
stuff. But
okay.
he's on display in a mock jail cell. I don't know. Like, do you think, is this a good advertising strategy? Like,
No.
look, our supporters are in jail.
Yeah, no, I would kind of
I get where they're going with it. They're like,
Yeah.
they're locking us up for
right for our beliefs.
for taking our stand or whatever.
But I think
I
there's
feel
a
like
better way to do it.
I feel like this could go horribly wrong too.
Well,
Like
yeah.
your supporters are in jail, dude,
Right.
and you're on your way to jail.
or
all your the people that like your staff, most
Yeah.
of them are in jail.
right, or it's like, oh well, you're supporting domestic terrorists
Yeah.
or something. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, this could be twisted.
yeah,
but-
a lot of different.
But
ways.
this is the hill they want to die on. They want to be
Yeah.
martyrs for this. I mean, they love this kind of.
Oh, I'm sure.
Trump loves this media
Oh, I
coverage.
know he does.
His supporters love this.
In Trump's eyes, there's no such thing as bad coverage.
Right, because I mean, you go full blown martyr on this, and I
Yeah.
mean, the worst thing that I think could have happened was after January 6th, they were just like, "You guys are idiots. Go home,"
Right.
because then it's the big nothing that it
Right.
was.
Yeah.
The fact that they went and arrested them all and paraded them through the streets
Right.
and made this big old ordeal
Right.
of it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just fuel
this was
going
to rival Top Gun too,
Yes.
right?
I mean, this is fucking fuel for the Donald
yeah.
Trump types. It's just like, look, they're doing exactly what we said they were.
Right.
We said they were going to throw us in jail for our beliefs, and they're doing it. So it's just like you gave him what he wanted, and he's probably going to do pretty good in the
I
polls
guarantee
because
you,
of this.
This guy is probably going to be with him on his campaign trail.
Oh, he will. He'll be the what was the Koloskis or whatever?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
The protest or the
Karen and-
anti-protesters,
yeah.
Karen and Kevin
Yeah.
McCloskey, or I don't know their real names, but the people that didn't know how to
Yeah.
hold a gun.
She was holding one like a gangster, and he's holding it like Rambo.
Yes, and they're wearing their nice polo
Yeah.
shirts and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we got that to look forward to. Man, 2024 is getting really, really
It's
freaking
gonna be
close.
a shit show, man.
It's getting so
It's
close.
gonna be a shit show.
I mean,
It is.
primaries are going to
It's gonna
start
start next year.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we got the midterms, and as
Yeah.
soon as the midterms hit, it's
It's
game on.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's going to be
Yep.
parading this guy around, parading the My Pillow guy around,
Yes.
and McCloskey's around.
Who's the kid who got in the face of that one at the Native
Oh
American guy at the,
Sandman,
Yeah, him. And then the poor kid from Wisconsin.
Yeah, he'll be there. I can't think of his name
Yeah, me
either,
neither.
but the Kenosha guy.
Yeah, Kenosha.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
And again, they fuel this. They fuel this Trump sentiment. I don't like Trump any more than the last guy,
Yeah.
any more than probably the left does. Well, maybe a little more than the left does. But again, you're just giving it, like,
Yeah.
hands down giving it to him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They're giving him the rope to hang himself with, and unfortunately,
But he'll win with this.
I was gonna
like,
say
this is enough
yeah.
to win
But
with.
that's what they did to him in the first election, though. They thought they were gonna give him enough rope to hang himself, and then he ended up winning,
Yeah.
right? And they were just like, "Oh, I don't even recognize my country anymore.
He's like, joke's on you. I'm a choker, bitch.
I do this for fun."
I get pleasure out of hanging myself. Oh, God. This is terrible. Anyway, moving on. On that note, let's move on. Speaking of retarded politics,
Yes.
I don't know where you stand with China and Taiwan. Like, we all think China's the bad guy.
Yeah.
We all think probably Taiwan should be not forced to be part of China. But I think collectively we can agree that it really doesn't have anything to fucking do with us.
Right.
And it's probably a bad idea for us to get involved with it. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know what your thoughts are. Like,
No, you've echoed those. I mean, those are exactly my thoughts. Yes, I think Taiwan should determine its own sovereignty. I don't think we should get involved with it, but I think we are going to get involved with it, and it's going to be just as big of a mess as Ukraine.
probably bigger because it's China and they
Yeah.
got tons and tons of people
Yeah.
to throw at this.
Yeah.
And Taiwan's a little more like isolated than
Right.
Ukraine is. Recent news within the last couple weeks, probably last week, Nancy Pelosi wasn't she going on a visit originally to China?
She went. Yeah.
Like some whatever she does
Yeah.
meeting.
Right.
And there was rumors that she was going to stop in Taiwan, and China was like,
Don't
"You
do
better
it.
not stop in
Do
Taiwan."
not
And she
do
was
it.
like, "I'm not going to stop in Taiwan." And she ends up stopping in Taiwan. Not only does she stop in Taiwan, it wasn't just like, "Oh, it's just like a connecting flight." She spends the night in Taiwan, and now China's a little pissed because they said, "Don't do this." Because the stupid thing here is the U.S. has maintained this whole idea that we don't support Taiwan. Like we only recognize the CCP, the Chinese
Right.
Communist Party, as China. It's all one. And we have no say. I mean, this was part of our deal with them. We have no say in like the politics of China, pretty much. But for some reason, we keep getting intertwined in these politics. It's like if you want to support Taiwan, then break this stupid deal you have with China and stop tiptoeing around it and stop this bullshit. Like, oh no, we're not going to Taiwan. It's like,
Yeah.
I think I sent you the post where because you can track any flight.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
oh, yeah,
through,
yeah,
what
you
is
should.
it? Nord something. It's
Yeah.
same.
NORAD.
Yeah, same thing that you can track Santa Claus.
Right. Yeah.
But more people tracked Nancy Pelosi's flight into Taiwan last week than they tracked Santa Claus on Christmas Eve because, from what speculation is, they were all looking to see if her plane would get shot down over the China Sea.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a bet going on.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Not saying would be a good
Right,
thing,
right.
but I'm not saying I wouldn't watch either. So this is from the Washington Post. It says, the White House is now summoning Chinese ambassadors as a crisis escalates. So now this is a full-blown crisis, all because Nancy Pelosi stopped in Taiwan.
Well, and rumor has it that Nancy Pelosi stopped in there because apparently the company that makes those computer chips, apparently she owns a lot of stock in that.
Oh, that's no surprise there. She probably is like gathering up computer chips and bringing them home.
And she was, checking on her investment.
Probably. So this says Ambassador Qin Gang was called to the White House after China launched ballistic missiles in response to a visit to Taiwan by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. So apparently while she was there, they were doing like war games all the way around the island, like shooting off missiles and shooting off like live rounds being shot basically over the island.
I read that the U.S. sent two aircraft carriers over to the China Sea just in case.
So she could get out?
Just in case, yes.
Says the fallout over House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan escalated sharply Friday as China reacted angrily to having its ambassador summoned to the White House, said it would cancel or suspend dialogue with the United States on several issues, and sanction Pelosi and her family. After China responded to Pelosi's visit by firing missiles into the water around Taiwan, the White House responded Thursday by telling the ambassador of China that China's recent military actions, including firing missiles into the water around Taiwan, were irresponsible and at odds with our long-standing goal of maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure her going to Taiwan, if you want to talk about being at odds with long-standing goal of maintaining peace, her going there when they said don't fucking go there, that was at odds and irresponsible in my opinion.
I think so too, yeah.
I mean, if you want to support Taiwan, great. Support Taiwan.
She's a fucking senator. She should not take it upon herself to go to a place that's being hotly contested with a country that we're on the precipice of war.
She's not even a senator. She's the House Speaker. She's
Okay.
the House of Representatives.
Yes.
It's like the WNBA
You're right.
of
Yes.
Congress.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not even. She's not even a fucking senator. But yeah, like that was my question. It's like, at what point? Like, when does the House Speaker become like international relations expert of any
so
sort?
it's like, this is a clear sign of Biden not having this shit together.
Right. Well, I could see if it was the Secretary of State going over there. But I don't see how the House Speaker...
Or Harris even. God bless her.
Good God. I'd rather Nancy Pelosi go. Because she would start talking about like women's rights over there and probably really start a war. So, not that they shouldn't have more women's rights over there, but I'm just saying. Says after China responded, I read this part. Says Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who's probably the one that should have been there,
right?
Speaking to reporters in Cambodia, delivered an equally sharp message to China. There is no justification for this extreme, disproportionate, and escalatory military response. Have you heard those words before?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Ukraine, Russia.
Yeah, almost exactly.
Yeah.
The only part they didn't put in was the unprovoked.
Yeah.
They put the provocative actions are significant escalation. So it's unjustified, disproportionate, escalatory. They didn't put unprovoked because they know this time we provoked them. They can't cover it this time. Says they've taken dangerous acts to a new level. Like other U.S. officials, Blinken sought to balance a message that the U.S. does not seek confrontation with a signal that it will not back down to aggressive actions from China. We will fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows, he said, which that's fine, but international law does not allow for secretary, or not even secretaries, the House Speaker to go to China without being allowed into China.
It was a $52 billion trip.
What?
Yes, but I guess moving the aircraft carriers into place, her flight, having the Secret Service on the ground for protection for her, everything altogether was $52 billion.
Million or billion?
Billion.
With a B.
With a B.
That's your taxpayer dollars going to work. And again, I'm not saying Taiwan should be a part of China.
No.
But the United States says Taiwan should be part of China. And China says, don't visit part of China because that's just going to stir shit up. And she's like, fuck you, I'm going to land here anyway. So, yeah, that was provocative.
It is. And again, she's the fucking House Speaker.
Yes.
She has no right to even be on that trip.
No. So it goes on to say the fast-moving events have forced President Biden to manage potentially volatile confrontations between the United States and two other world powers, even as tension bubbles between the United States and China over Pelosi's trip. Biden is striving to keep Beijing from aiding Russia in its scorched earth war against Ukraine. But the meeting with Quinn did not appear to deter China. On Friday, China said it is canceling or suspending dialogue with the United States on issues including climate change, military relations, and anti-drug efforts. Beijing also announced unspecified sanctions on Pelosi and her immediate family in retaliation for what it called malicious and provocative. They should say, any stock you have over here,
We're freezing it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
suspended. It's canceled.
Absolutely.
You no longer have stock here because her teeth will fall out of her fucking mouth immediately. It's like, where am I going to support my Coke habit now?
Right.
So, what do you think of all this?
It's infuriating. Like I said, she has no business being over there, and like I said, for all intents and purposes, it was for personal business.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even if she was going over to Taiwan to say, hey, we support Taiwan, then come out and say, hey, take a stance as the United States and say, we're supporting Taiwan. Not that I think we should get into people's shit, but I think we got to stop dancing around this fucking thing.
No, and I agree with that. But, and again, though, it's not her place to do that.
No, it's not at all.
So,
and
I mean,
Antony Blinken's probably in wherever he was. Where did he say he was?
it starts with the C.
Was it
Cambodia?
Cambodia?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. He's probably there. He's like, wait, she's where?
Yeah. Well, how the fuck she get there?
I was going to China.
Yeah.
God damn it, she just
took
made
my trip again. But but again, I mean that just again it plays into all the rumors that she's holding Biden's balls and she's like his puppet master, which I don't think it's her, but the fact that he's not,
she's got more pull than he does.
Well,
that's
yeah,
for sure.
she does absolutely, and that just proves it.
So the other foreign relations news I have, and I'm not even going to get into this article, but the headline from CBS News says, why military aid to Ukraine doesn't always get to the front lines. Like 30% of it reaches its final destination.
No shit. It's like Black Lives Matter. It's like, I guarantee you, what's Zelensky? Is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's sitting in a suite someplace away from it all.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking that money and putting it towards other things. But
it's like legit weapons that aren't making it.
But
it's going to the black market. Is what
I'm sure. I mean, because again, there's no chance they're going to win this war.
No. He's
I mean,
like, I might as well get a payout out of it.
Exactly. I might as well get something out of this.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not going to get into that. I just saw that. I'm just like, shocking.
Yeah, right.
Shocking. Yeah. We're spending what was the last package, like $86 billion,
yes,
and 30% of that actually made it to where it was supposed to go. So why do we continue to fund this then?
Yeah,
So now we got.
I guarantee you that money is going through the wash, and it's going to end up back in American hands.
I was reading on Twitter. It was Joe Biden, because I follow Joe Biden because I like to troll him in the comments after he makes stupid comments. But he was just like, U.S. citizens are saving, on average, about $100 a month on gas due to, from its peak a couple months ago, they're now able to save about $100 a month on gas due to this, and that. Okay, yes. Gas has come down from its exorbitant spike that you put it through to begin with.
Yeah.
Which we blamed Vladimir Putin for that. Do we blame Vladimir? Do we give him credit for the gas decrease now?
I have seen people saying thank you, Putin, for the gas decrease.
So anyway, he said all that. I saw somebody commented, and it's like, how many people are in the United States? Like 300 million or something?
Like 375 million.
Yeah, so they're like, instead of giving us all $100 back, why don't you take that $100 per person, because of $100 a month, and that would be, it was like 300 billion. Let me think about that. Yeah, it was like going to be like $300 billion a year, and send that to Ukraine instead. This was a person like, as a commenter on this post. It's like, instead of this, like, keep the gas prices there, take that incentive that you put to lower our gas prices, and send that money to the Ukraine war so we can beat Russia. And I was just like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Who are these people?
And people like started like full out blasting this person, like, are you freaking kidding me? What an idiot.
What an idiot. That's dumb.
Speaking of
Dumb.
taxes and stupid, and taxes mostly, and inflation and prices and stuff, this morning, early morning, like I went on a fish-o-rama this weekend. I told you that, right?
Yes.
The Senate went through what they actually deem a vote-o-rama. That's actually legitimately what they call it.
I believe that, actually. I believe that.
It went all through the night to pass this Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah,
So
that seems about right. I mean,
wouldn't that be a deflation act?
Yeah,
inflation
it would.
like
Yes.
negative, but
yeah.
it's not canceling inflation. It's just reducing. So
Yeah.
it's still up here,
Right.
but it's just not up here. Supposedly. So they got that passed apparently in Senate, and Kamala Harris was the final vote. And I wanted to show her smugness when she realized that it probably took her a minute to realize, oh, I get the final vote here. But man, I just want you to see this.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
So,
How many times do you think she practiced that in the mirror?
well, for the last 2 years, because this is literally the
Yes,
first thing that she
she's
has
ever
had
done.
her name
She's
on.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I voted yeah.
The Vice President votes in the affirmative.
Take
They-
that,
They
bitches.
probably did 3 or 4 takes on it. She's
Right.
like, the Vice President votes in the yes. Shit, can we?
Yeah,
start
I need a
the
stronger
camera-
word.
start
What's a
the-
stronger word
start
for
the
yes?
camera over. But yeah, she just seems like really
Yeah.
way too proud of herself for
Right.
voting for this. Which, I mean, this is basically like Build Back Better bill light.
Right.
Is what this is.
But
And-
they needed this, and we knew this was coming because with midterms coming up in November, they needed a win.
Yeah, and they were determined to get something passed.
Yeah.
You know how in the past it was just like, no, we're not voting for that
Right.
because it's not everything that's in the
Right?
package.
They couldn't even get Democrats to vote for it.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're just gonna say no because the Republicans want it and we don't want it, and it was just stalled. Well, now the Democrats at least have gone complete reverse flip because this vote-a-rama, what it was basically trying to put different amendments on this bill.
Oh, okay.
Like the Republicans, and as you saw, there was a 50-50 split, and
Right.
none of these things are actually going to accomplish anything. And it's all this whole vote-o-rama thing for adding amendments was basically for nothing because everybody was voting down the board
Right.
50-50, and she got to vote the affirmative
Right.
every single time. And so, like the Republicans would be like, well, we want to add this into it. And it's like, all right, let's take a vote for this. And it's like 50-50 split. She votes
Right.
Democrat side, doesn't pass. Well, even like Bernie Sanders is like, you know what? I think we got to put this in here too. I think he wanted to extend the child tax credit.
Oh no.
And a lot of them actually want this. A lot of these were things that they actually support,
Yeah.
but they were just like, no, because it's not going to pass, and
Right.
we just need to fucking pass this
Yeah.
thing. So we'll save that for a later date,
Yeah.
and we just want to pass this because we know it can pass. And Bernie Sanders was pretty pissed. And
he?
like when the amendments would come up and they'd vote for him, the only person that would, because it was Republicans vote Republican, Democrats vote Democrat, Bernie was the only one that would vote his amendments. Nobody else would budge on literally anything. And he'd just be like, this is unprecedented times, and I vote for myself. And they'd be like, no, you sit the fuck down. He basically told him to sit the fuck
It's
down.
unprecedented.
Yes. So it passed. Here's a little bit of what's in the bill, apparently. This is from NPR.
Okay.
We're just going to breeze through this because we're running out of time. It says, after weeks of negotiation to revive the core of the election year agenda, Senate Democrats passed a spending bill which would attempt to tackle climate change. That's the biggest part of this is climate change bill. And the high cost of prescription drug charges and lower the deficit roughly by $300 billion. And that's the joke in all of this,
That is the
that
joke.
they're lowering the deficit.
Right.
Says late Saturday and into Sunday, senators voted on amendments to Democrats' major spending bill that tackled health care, climate, and taxes. Legislation was passed through the budget reconciliation process, which means 50 Democrats and one tiebreaker vote from Kamala Harris were needed, since none of the 50 Republican senators voted for the bill. It also restricts the measures in the bill to those that directly change federal spending and revenue. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said Saturday that despite a few cuts from the Senate parliamentarian, the bill overall is still a legislative win for Democrats. It's been long and tough, winding road, Schumer said before the final vote on Sunday. Democrats have argued the measure will tackle voters' main economic concern, naming it the Inflation Reduction Act. Obviously, that sounds all well and good for
that
us.
makes people happy, right?
Yes. The bill is far from perfect. It's a compromise, but it's often how progress is made, Biden said. My message to Congress is this. This is the strongest bill you can pass. It's basically like, this is the best you're going to get. Just fucking take the bill.
Yeah, just vote for it.
It goes on to say, so the climate change part says more than $300 billion would be invested in energy and climate reform, the largest federal clean energy investment in U.S. history. The bill has support from many environmental and climate activists, but is short the $555 billion the Democrats originally called for. The portion of the bill takes on transportation and electricity generation and includes $60 billion for growing renewable energy infrastructure and manufacturing like solar panels and wind turbines. It also includes several tax credits for individuals on things like electric vehicles and making homes more efficient. So now you get money to buy an electric vehicle that you can still plug into the power grid or run off batteries that were produced by slave labor in like the Congo or some shit like that.
Right.
The bill would, according to Democrats, lower greenhouse gas emissions by 40% based on 2005 levels by the end of the decade, which is short of the 50% Biden originally aimed for. It puts us within a close enough distance that further executive action, state and local government efforts, and private sector leadership could plausibly get us across the finish line by 2030, says Jesse Jenkins from Princeton University. So now it's fine. Like, as long as we're close, we're fine. Before it was like, if we don't do this by this, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, right.
But now it's just like, well, we're almost
we're close.
there. We're close.
That's it'll be fine.
We're good. So then, prescription drugs. It says on health reforms, the bill takes on making prescription drugs more affordable, but there are some limits. The bill includes a historic measure that allows the federal health secretary to negotiate the price of certain expensive drugs each year for Medicare. But this won't impact every prescription drug or every patient, and it won't take effect quickly. The negotiations will take effect for 10 drugs covered by Medicare in 2026, increasing to 20 drugs in 2029. How the fuck is this really helpful?
It's
and
not.
why was this necessary to pass now if it's not even going to take effect for 4 years?
Biden won't even be president.
No.
Hopefully.
And it's only pertaining within the next 7 years to only 20 different drugs.
Right.
Not all prescription drugs, because I know a lot of people wanted to put like a cap on prescription or on insulin.
Right.
And that didn't pass.
See, and insulin's one that should be like a major one that should be capped.
Yeah.
Because insulin is, I mean,
it's pretty vital from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says that the portion of the bill that tried to cap $35 a month for the price of insulin, which is incredibly expensive in the United States compared to other countries, was ruled out of order by a Senate parliamentarian who ruled the cap could apply on Medicare, a government program, but not on private insurance. So once again, they found themselves, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Like when Biden's like, I'm going to have every public place mask up when I'm president. And then once he took off, it's like, I'm going to have every government place. Yeah. He's like, I did what I said. And it's like, no, you didn't. He's like, well, I can't do that thing.
Right.
But you promised those things, and people are pissed off about it. But
look, we tried.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, they probably put caps on the monkeypox, right?
Oh, probably, yes.
Vaccine.
Because that's a public health emergency now.
Yes, it's an emergency.
Yes, it's definitely an emergency now, which I don't know what that means.
Yes.
Now, are we restricted from having gay orgies, or
I think as long as we stay 6 feet from each other
and
when
masturbate,
we
6 feet apart?
Yes, we should be okay.
All right, fair enough. Not we, but God.
They know what we meant.
Yes. All right. It says the bill puts a cap of $2,000 on out-of-pocket prescription drug costs for people on Medicare. So again, it's only applying to
Medicare,
to government-funded medication.
It
doesn't apply.
I promise you, they're going to try to expand
Oh, they will.
that
Yeah.
coverage.
Says there's also a 3-year extension on healthcare subsidies in the Affordable Health Care Act, originally passed in a pandemic relief bill last year, estimated by the government to have kept premiums at $10 a month or lower for the vast majority of people covered through federal health insurance. Then there's tax reform. Legislation creates a minimum of 15% tax for corporations making $1 billion or more in income, bringing in more than $300 billion in revenue. So that's the whole $300, bring the deficit down $300 billion, which is not much compared to like the $25 trillion the deficit's at.
Right.
You're talking like a couple nickels worth.
Right. Exactly.
Like the government wouldn't even notice $300 billion missing if it were to just like vanish like a day before 9/11 or something like that. So
it's
$300 billion. I mean,
it's symbolic, is all it is.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, well, we brought the deficit down $300 billion.
It's the first time the deficit's come down in 3 years.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
It's true. So, and
we'll see that in about 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how long of term is that when it's just closing tax loopholes is basically what it sounds like, and increasing the minimum tax on people making $1 billion or more to 15%.
Yeah.
And from what I saw, the original bill was like increasing everybody making over like $25,000 by like 0.5%. And there, I don't know if that passed or not in this bill.
Yeah.
But there goes the whole promise of I'm not going to raise anybody's taxes that make $400,000 or less. So lies, more lies. So what do you think? That you think this is going to lower inflation?
No, I don't think.
Do you think this is going to curb the impending recession?
No.
I'm surprised this bill didn't include a redefinition of recession.
Yeah, right. Because it's not curbing government spending. It's just restructuring it.
Yeah.
And so as long as the government keeps spending a lot, inflation's going to keep going up.
Right. But we are getting $300 billion back from the tax incentives, which that's just going to make corporations pay more. And yes, I get that they probably have that money to spend, but they're going to pass it along to us, which is going to raise costs for us, which then increases inflation. That's how that works.
There was someone I was talking to the other day. I can't remember who it is, and they were talking about how they knew it was a millionaire that was in town here, and how they're one of the good ones because
they're a good millionaire
because they even admit that they don't pay enough taxes.
I've said this so many times.
I know.
There's a section on your tax form where you can send more money to the government anytime you want.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to complain and be like, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, you paid us too much. You're going to go to jail for tax fraud now because you paid actually
that's
more.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
No.
It's like, oh, well, I don't pay enough taxes. I don't know what to say.
There was some Silicon Valley guys. I can't remember if it was Bill Gates or Zuckerberg or whoever. They were the same. It's just like, yeah, we should be paying more. It's just like, fucking pay more.
I know.
You have the money. You could finance the government for half a day with your tax money, which is really sad. But
it is.
Do it then.
Yeah, right.
just fucking do it. You don't have to be asked to or told to do it. You can just write a check and be like, here, take my money.
One of the smartest things GW ever said, he's like, for those billionaires and millionaires who think you don't pay enough taxes, you can make checks payable to the IRS.
Yes, exactly. Just do it.
So,
that's all you got to do. Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping you. And I'm not saying I don't believe in taxes at all. It's all fucking bullshit because it doesn't get spent the way we want it to.
Yeah. It gets blown all over the place.
Yeah. But I do think these corporate tax loopholes are probably bullshit. A lot of them, at least a lot of them. I know there are some states that's how, by giving tax cuts and tax breaks, that's how they get business. Like I know Iowa has major, or at least in the mid 2000s, major tech company tax breaks so that we could get like the Microsoft data farms and the Facebook data farms and all this stuff to, that's why Des Moines, the capital here, went from a shit town after the 2008 flood to Like it's
Yeah.
booming now compared
that's
to
why
a place
everybody
like-
goes and films movies in Georgia because they
Yeah.
give massive tax cuts to movie
Right.
companies.
So those things I agree with because a state like this, the economy would suck ass more than it does already
Right.
if we didn't give tax. Like why would a tech company like that come to freaking Iowa
Right.
if there wasn't tax incentives to do it? But certain tax loopholes, I don't even know what they are.
Right.
Probably should not be there. There's
Yeah.
no reason why certain companies are paying nothing when we're all paying out
Right.
the ass.
And that's why I've always been a fan of, the proposed like flat tax, right? Where it's like no loopholes.
Yeah.
Everybody pays this percentage.
Sure.
Straight up.
Or flat zero taxes.
Well, yeah,
Make the
obviously
government
that's
fund
more
itself.
ideal,
Fund
right?
yourself. Go make your own goddamn money.
right?
It's like if you want, it's like me. If I want to put on or if you want to put on an addition to your house, you got to come up with the funds to do it.
Right.
The government wants to put on an addition to the government. They need to be the ones to come up with that funds. We shouldn't be the ones fronting them for
I
their
agree.
addition. So
I agree.
anyway, this is probably the only time you're going to hear me say this. The Brits have actually come out and done a better job of handling inflation than this Inflation Reduction Act, than us here in the United States. The Brits are actually doing better.
And
This is the only time you're going to... I will never say that.
and
probably
they're
again.
taking their cues from China.
Yes. How's
So
that happen?
go figure that.
Yes. 75,000 Brits have stopped paying their power bills amid the inflation storm.
That's awesome.
Look, if you don't like the prices, I mean, if you all collectively stop paying, yeah, they'll probably shut you all off, and then you get all pissed off, and then the government starts getting squirmy like they always are when 75,000 people get pissed off, and then something happens. That's how you make change happen. It's like everybody has to collectively do it at once, not just like, me and you, hey, let's just not fucking pay our power
Right,
bill this
yeah.
month. Because you think Alliant Energy fucking cares,
Right.
they're going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, click.
Yeah.
We
We got a house in CR and in Marion that aren't paying their power bill.
Yes.
Click.
that was easy. But
Yeah.
now when the bills come in and they're 75,000 bills short,
Right. That makes a difference.
That's a big difference. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what the population of Britain is. 75,000 isn't a lot of people, but it's a considerable amount to just decide we're not going to do this.
Right.
This says the resistance is growing as more than 75,000 irritated people, I'd say they're probably more than irritated, in the UK have pledged to not pay their electricity bill this fall when prices jump again. 75,000 people have pledged to strike on October 1st. If the government and energy companies refuse to act, then ordinary people will. Together we can enforce a fair price and affordable energy for all. An anonymous group spearheading the effort to have more than 1 billion Brits boycott paying their power bill by October 1st. So, I don't know. This is like borderline anarchy and borderline communism at the same time.
67 million people live in Britain.
So I mean, it's like 1% maybe of the population.
Yeah.
The strike comes as inflation's storm of high energy price has obliterated household incomes. Brits are the most miserable in 3 decades as inflation is expected to hit 13%. And while the Bank of England governor, Bank of England has its own governor,
Interesting.
Andrew Bailey, hiked interest rates the most in 27 years to tame inflation, risks are mounting of a recession. The average household on October 1st will pay almost £300 a month for power. A couple surging power costs with negative real wage growth, and it becomes apparent households are being squeezed. Okay, we get what inflation is. We get that prices are up, energy prices are up.
Right.
The key point here is they haven't started it yet. It's all just a
okay.
petition right now. They're
Got it.
saying as of October 1st, if you haven't done anything, we're not paying. We're going. In my opinion, this is misleading because it says
Yeah.
75,000 to stop paying power bills.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like they
Like
just
it's certain.
stopped doing
Yeah.
it and
Right.
like really affected and disrupted what was going on there. They haven't done it yet
Right.
because I mean that's a lot of talk in my opinion.
Yeah. that
Until
is-
you've actually done it, then maybe that'll be a big deal to me.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying it and threatening it, how many of those people are actually going to do it when it starts to get freaking cold out and be like, hey, we're not going to pay our power bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They probably should have started that back in like May.
Yeah. Well, they're expecting a jump in the fall because heat's going to start kicking on and things are going to start going up. So that's why they're picking October 1st. But still, it's like, how many people are actually going to follow through with this? Or is it just like a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, we'll be on board with it. But when the time comes, John stands up and he's like, we're turning off our power. And everybody else is like, but it's really freaking cold here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and so the Chinese reference I had made, and apparently in China, when you're having a home built, apparently you have to start paying your mortgage on it, like immediately
while it's being built.
And so apparently, several thousands Chinese have refused to pay their mortgage on their homes that are not completed.
Yeah, and it's disrupting the housing market there. Like it's. At least this was a few weeks ago. Yeah, it was like major disruption to the banking system, the housing loan system, because a bunch of people collectively who are like, fuck it, we're just not going to pay the bill because we can't afford it and we don't want to pay it right now. And so, that's how you get shit done, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Now, when the Brits are doing it right and the Chinese people are doing it right, that's when we're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Now, when the Brits actually start doing it right, then I can go back and say when the Brits are doing it right. But right now, I guess it's just the Chinese.
Yeah, we have until October. If they start doing it right in October, then we can talk.
Because this is almost the equivalent of people in the U.S. being like, come and take them.
Right.
It's like, but how many of you would actually stand up when the government comes to take them? Because you wouldn't even walk in a store with a freaking mask off.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah.
I think I had a dream about us masking back up here.
Oh, really?
Last night, I just like sparked my memory that it like became like a thing, and I was like not gonna do it.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
There are people that are masking up again because
there is.
Apparently, COVID numbers are going up again.
Yeah, my wife's job is requiring masking up there.
That sucks.
So lots of things to talk about. This went longer than the usual hour, but like I said, we had a lot of things to cover because we haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. What do you think of all this? What's the most important thing that we discussed today at this time? Like, right now, this is the most important thing.
I would say the most important thing that we talked about is I think Trump's going to make another run.
You think, like, at this current time that matters most over the big spending bill, over...
Oh, I mean, obviously, the big spending bill, I think, is just fluff.
Obviously, the Brittney Griner story, or whatever her name is, Griner story is pretty important. I mean...
Yeah.
But yeah, the Trump thing, I mean, that's no shock, but it's like, that's really stupid.
Yeah.
The China stuff's pretty big.
That is a big thing, yeah, and I think that's going to escalate even more. And again, it just goes to show how much Biden's house is not in order.
Yes.
Right? When he's got Pelosi is a random politician going over to a foreign country that is, they're an enemy. Right. I mean, China is an enemy. So, I mean, that's just stupid.
Well, you're wrong. The most important, most pertinent thing that's going on right now is the picture of the chorizo sausage being peddled as space stars.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like misinformation right there. They should be removed from freaking Twitter for pushing misinformation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people that they're trying to ban like flat earthers on like Twitter because it's supposedly somehow dangerous misinformation. It's like, well, this is the same fucking thing. You're trying to push a picture of chorizo as a star.
Yeah. But I mean, how often does this happen with scientists, right?
Yeah,
especially nowadays.
Let's open up that can of worms. Yeah. You just opened up a can of worms there. Let's start going back
Trust
to
the science. Trust the science.
Yes, exactly.
Why? Because of fucking chorizo?
Yes. Let's go back and start scrutinizing every space photo now. And I mean, there's got to be some AI that can compare this to. Maybe it was AI that caught this. It was like, nope, that's chorizo. So we could like enter all these space photos, supposed space photos, which I don't really believe any of them actually are, because I think it's just a way for NASA to keep spending more
It
money and
is,
be like, hey,
yeah.
this pretty picture. We're like, oh my
Right.
gosh, the
But-
universe is so awesome.
Wait, that's an onion cell. I
Yes.
remember that from biology.
Yes, let's run all these pictures through
Yeah.
AI. Freaking
And let's see what's real.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's obviously space chorizo is the most important thing. So that's all the time we got for tonight. We got our main show tomorrow. Back-to-back episodes, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
We're back.
Not sure entirely where we're going to go with this one. I kind of want to talk, because the whole Alex Jones thing happened,
Yes.
where he got
You got pinched.
fined like a ton of money. And so I kind of want to maybe discuss the state that conspiracy theorists find themselves in after all that happens. Like, what is the threat to, like what's the precedent, I guess, that's set? And like this kind of battle on misinformation. I know the UN came out this week and basically said conspiracy theorists are dangerous and stuff. And I mean, it'll be a fun one, I think. So we might as well talk about kind of this struggle against the evil conspiracy theorists out there. I think that's what I want to talk about.
All right. I like
Tomorrow night. Maybe I can get my brother on because he's a big conspiracy theorist guy.
Okay.
I'll see if he's busy or not. Otherwise, next week, actually, I need to talk to you about this, but I think next week we're going to have to do Tuesday because I got a guest on for next week. It is Senor Jose, I think is his name. He's
That sounds a little shady.
Senor Jose. He's he's the host of the No Way Jose podcast, and he's coming on our show, but he can't do Monday nights, so
okay.
we're going to do Tuesday night to accommodate his needs.
Okay.
We're going to talk about, I think, some like specifically back in the 90s, like the anti-government movements of the 90s, because he just did a whole series on the Oklahoma City bombing,
okay.
and there's a lot of stuff surrounding that, and then there's like Waco and Ruby Ridge and obviously Timothy McVeigh and
Right.
the militia movement and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I want to kind of compare that to what's going on today, because listening to how they were like kind of handling and the FBI was infiltrating the militia movements back then, which led up to the Oklahoma City bombing, which basically ended the militia movements altogether. We kind of see that same sentiment now with like the FBI and the what was the senator from Michigan that got kidnapped,
Oh, it was the governor
or the governor?
that
Yeah,
they were going to kidnap.
yeah. That then like January 6th, we've heard rumors of the Fed guy that was on video calling for people to go, and he's like the one person that's not being indicted and all this. So you see kind of the same things playing out now. It's just like, are we due for another Oklahoma City bombing type incident to kind of put an end to like this anti-government movement, I guess you could call right now. So that's kind of what I want to talk to him about. So we'll see where that goes. That will be next Tuesday night. Senor Jose from the No Way Jose podcast. Make sure you show up for that because that's going to be a fun one. So we actually have a week in advance planned out. That never happens.
Insane.
That is very insane. Otherwise, we're done for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your week. Make sure you check us out all over social media. Make sure you go to that new YouTube channel, like and subscribe so we can build that thing back up. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week. You got anything else?
Peace.
All right. Goodbye. That was very lackluster piece. Are you high? Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.